Fine Gael are putting a brave face on today's events, but the real background to the ascension to office of Simon Harris is a Taoiseach and 1/3 of Fine Gael TDs abandoning the Fine Gael ship and being afraid to face the electorate in the next general election. And the reason they are abandoning the Fine Gael ship and don't want to face the electorate is because they know they have failed hundreds of thousands of people in this country on the most basic things of providing secure and affordable housing, of providing a decent health service that works, on protecting our children with special needs and those with disabilities, and providing the public services that make life bearable for people and protect people from the crippling cost of living crisis that has been inflicted on them over the last number of years. I find it particularly remarkable that the outgoing Taoiseach has attempted to absolve himself from these failures and the reasons why he's abandoning ship by making reference to international origins to the problems we face. That is really quite extraordinary. The reality is we are one of the wealthiest countries in the world where profits for corporations have gone through the roof in the period that Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil have been in government. Almost quadrupled since 2011. And in a wealthy country where profits are being raked in by the corporations, by the energy companies, by the corporate landlords and the vulture funds, you have left us with the worst housing and homelessness crisis the country has ever seen, and it continues to get worse day in, day out. It is shameful that there are 4,000 children in homeless accommodation and that number continues to rise. It is absolutely shameful that in a country as wealthy as ours, a generation of young and working people are priced out of the possibility of ever owning their own home, and for many of them cannot afford the utterly unaffordable rents, and we are seeing the return of mass emigration. Young people coming out of the universities and colleges that Simon Harris has been in charge of, leaving because they do not believe, they have no confidence that this government is capable of giving them a secure and affordable roof over their head. So the skills and the talents they have developed being taken elsewhere to other countries because they believe there is no future for them. The cost of living crisis that Taoiseach Varadkar referred to, saying the worst is over. Tell that to people who got their ESB and gas bills in the early months of this year. Absolutely crucifying. Or mortgage interest rate hikes that have seen people's mortgage interest payments go up by hundreds of euros every month. For many, absolutely unsustainable. Or, of course, the profiteering of rents, which are now in Dublin, €2,000 to €2,500 a month. Extraordinary. 24 or 30,000 euro a year on rent on your after-tax income. Unaffordable for the vast majority of working people. Or the reference to special needs. All I am hearing at the moment in my clinic, and I've heard it around this Dáil over recent weeks, is children who can't get appointments with the Child and Disability Network teams, which are chronically understaffed, completely under-resourced and understaffed CAMS teams, schools that are actually seeing cuts in special education teaching resources, or who can't get the funding for autism classes that they are actually looking for. The failure to ratify the optional protocol for people with disabilities, the shocking fact that rather than give people rights, give people with disabilities and carers rights, they are means-tested and often denied the supports and the rights that they deserve. And I have to say, I found it particularly shocking at the Ardèche at the weekend, where there were references to Fine Gael going back to core values and back to basics. That should be a reason for people to be scared, because Fine Gael's core values over the last 10 years are to back the corporations, to back the landlords, back the vulture funds, while working people get it in the neck, while they can't deliver affordable housing for people, and when our health service is crumbling. And the first sign of the first sign of this is the kite flying around the plan to renege on the promise to extend sick leave next year for workers. So already the new Harris regime is suggesting that it's going to renege on a promise to give additional sick leave to workers in order to back the interests of big business. And then, of course, there was the standing ovation over the words Simon Harris used about being repulsed, rightly, at the actions of Israel in terms of their genocidal attack on the people of Palestine. But the same Ardèche voted heavily against the Occupied Territories Bill that would actually impose sanctions on Israel for its brutal and cruel treatment of the Palestinian people. Very lastly, Minister Harris, I was asked from somebody from your constituency to mention the shameful decision for the Mother and Baby Redress Scheme to exclude the West Bank orphanage in Greystones in your constituency. Something that they were recommended to be included in all the mother and baby reports and have been shamefully excluded, and they asked me to take this day and this opportunity to ask you to address that utter wrong.